When you stop and think about it, this year has actually been pretty insane for sneaker releases. And we're only half of the way through, with plenty more to come. So here's the top 10 sneakers for 2023 so far. Coming in at number 10, and probably the most surprising pair of sneakers for me, the Tiana Taylor Jordan 1 Zoom Comfort 2. Ever since I saw the first leaks and rumors of this pair of sneakers, I was never really that interested. It's not till I actually got this pair of sneakers in hand and realized how insane they went with this collaboration. The materials are way nicer than even a standard pair of Jordan 1s, which, considering this is a Zoom Comfort version of the Jordan 1, is pretty crazy. The amount of detailed extras that you get on this pair of shoes definitely makes it stand out from your standard collaboration, especially some of the more recent ones. The colorway is actually pretty amazing, as long as you remove the yellow laces that come with this pair of shoes, because it kind of looks like a McDonald's collaboration then. All in all, this pair of sneakers is definitely out there. It's one of the more crazier design pair of shoes with all of the added extras, but overall, I think it's a phenomenal collaboration and a great sneaker. Coming in at number 9, the Bad Bunny Adidas Campus. I was almost certain that the Forum was going to be the peak of the Bad Bunny and Adidas collaboration, but when this pair of shoes came along, I instantly liked it. Even if you separate the hype that Bad Bunny brings to this model, just the sneaker itself is such a great value pair of shoes for the materials that you actually get. But also you get a really cool unboxing experience and added extras to really make this pair of shoes feel extra premium. And unlike some colorways of the Bad Bunny Forum, this one's actually pretty attainable. In fact, I've seen it still in stock at different retailers. Overall, I think these things look great on foot. It's a nice chunky silhouette and a really solid collaboration. Taking the number 8 spot is the Nike Dunk Low Fly Streetwear. Now, I was pretty much convinced that this was going to be my favorite dunk of 2023. Obviously, we're only halfway through, so there's still plenty more that could suddenly turn around and surprise me. But the point I'm trying to make is that I really like this pair of dunks. I think it's a great colorway. I think the collaboration is pretty solid, and the colorway just looks great on foot. All in all, I think this is definitely one of the best dunks that we've seen in 2023 so far, and by the looks of it, probably one of the best that we're gonna see this year. Coming in at number 7, the Nike Airship Every Game. Now, I'm not a big fan of how they released this pair of shoes, kind of confusing people with the Nigel Sylvester collaboration that ended up being a friends and family exclusive. But the fact that they look so similar kind of got people to believe that they created the Nigel Sylvester version just to boost the hype value of the Every Game one. Now, with all that to the side, this is a phenomenal pair of sneakers. Everything from the colorway, the execution, to the materials, it's just very well done. Both colorways are great, however, personally, I prefer the UNC one, so that's kind of the one that's going to be on my list. Coming in at number 6 is a collaboration a lot of people overlooked, which I'm actually pretty happy with, but it's a personal favorite, and that is the Adidas Mr Bailey Osmorphos. Look, this pair of shoes is definitely not mainstream. It is definitely a little bit more crazy, but the design of it, the way that it looks on foot, how comfortable it is, it has to be up there as one of my favorite sneakers to drop here in 2023. And even though it's not going to win any most hyped awards, to me personally, I enjoy wearing them a ton. Say what you want about Adidas, but the way that they handle their collaborations is pretty impressive. They give so much freedom to the creators who are designing the pair of shoes to where it looks like a brand new model that was never in Adidas's lineup. I think this ends up making collaborations feel a lot more special and like you're really getting something from the designer that's joining Adidas's team. Coming in at number 5 is a brand new old sneaker, the Yeezy Foam Runner MX Cinder. Brand new because it just released, and old because, I mean, you guys know the story. It was supposed to release ages ago. The funny thing about this pair of Yeezys, and I guess all of them in general, is the fact that we hardly really had any time to kind of prepare for the fact that they're actually dropping. In my head, seeing all of the leaks and rumors of this pair of shoes, I had already completely written this sneaker off. Like, oh, it is never going to drop, so just don't even consider that something that you're going to get your hands on. But in the space of about a week, Adidas announced that they're going to be dropping Yeezys again, and then just dropped all of them. This was definitely one of the sneakers on that list that I wanted the most. Somehow, this pair of shoes manages to mix black, brown, gray, and a swirling, vibrant blue on the top, and makes it a sneaker that's surprisingly quite easy to style. I think this is one of my favorite colorways of all time on the Foam Runner. So yeah, definitely had to be on my list, and something that I'm going to be rocking really heavy this summertime. Taking the number 4 spot is the Jordan 3 White Cement Reimagined. Now, you guys know, of course, this pair of shoes had to be on the list. There's been a decent amount of Jordan 3 White Cement inspired colorways on the market, but it's been about a decade since the last really good one. I think it's perfect time to bring this pair of shoes back, and it's definitely a classic that I really wanted to get my hands on, and to no surprise, most other people as well. I mean, despite some people receiving pairs with various quality control issues, the sneaker itself and the colorway and all of the different details line up really well with the Jordan 3 White Cement original. For the most part, the Reimagined series that Jordan Brand is doing has produced some really awesome pairs of shoes. I don't know if I can say that for the future of the Reimagined series, we'll have to wait and see, but I'm certainly happy with this one, and it's definitely one of the best sneakers to drop here in 2023. Alright, before we jump into the top 3, you know I gotta hit you with some of those honorable mentions that didn't quite make the list, starting with the Yeezy Slide Azure. Now, we've seen a bunch of different colorways of the Yeezy slide, but I would say for the most part, most of those colorways are very neutral. Browns, tans, grays, blacks, and I think the loudest options that we've had are pretty much just the glow greens and the inflamed. But this one definitely adds to that roster, and I think as a more vibrant colorway on the slide, this is definitely my favorite. Another honorable mention would be the Tiffany Nike Air Force 1. Now look, I know that most people really love this pair of shoes and would definitely add it to their actual top 10, but I just don't think that this pair of shoes is really for me. Look, I completely understand the whole Tiffany and Nike collaboration thing and how groundbreaking that is. Very high price tag, a relatively boring colorway, and the hype on it is absolutely insane. And it is insanely limited to the point where I think it's like 1100 to 1500 for an actual pair of them now on the resale market. Final honorable mention, the Jordan 1 High 85 black and white, or Panda. I think this is a great pair of shoes, a great colorway, but it just doesn't feel that special to me. I think it's literally because Nike has put the black and white colorway on pretty much every single sneaker ever since they saw the hype of the Panda Dunk. And just seeing all of these different black and white sneakers on the market, it just feels like this pair of Jordans has kind of been diluted. Maybe if Nike didn't go as crazy producing all of these different variations of a Panda Dunk, essentially, this pair of Jordans would feel a lot more special. Nevertheless, the sneaker in and of itself is definitely one of the best to drop this year. Those are my honorable mentions. Let's get into the top 3. Coming at number 3, the Jordan 1 Low Travis Scott Olive. I don't really know what to say about this pair of shoes because it is so mainstream that most people assumed it was going to be in the top 3, so it's kind of like we all get it. This is definitely one of my favorite colorways of the Jordan 1 Travis Scott collaboration. Me personally, it is up there with the reverse mochas and the fragment pen. Now, the insane amount of hype behind this pair of shoes can be looked at as something that's pretty unfortunate because the resale prices are just absolutely mind-blowing at this point. But nevertheless, just judging the sneaker based on how it looks, the materials, the unboxing, and just the collaboration in general, it's definitely one of my favorite this year. Taking the number 2 spot, the Jordan 4 Nike SB. This one's pretty crazy because I honestly didn't expect that so many people would absolutely love this pair of shoes. Now, I personally don't believe it's as groundbreaking and innovative as some people like to believe. We are kind of talking about one brand with 2 different sections in it collaborating with itself. It's a little bit confusing. I feel like it's less of a collaboration and more of like Jordan brand made a Jordan slightly more for skateboarding. Now, having said all of that, it actually sounds a little bit more negative, but I still really like this pair of shoes. I think it's a great colorway on a pretty insane model. Don't let the specifics bog you down. It's definitely one of the best sneakers to drop this year so far, and definitely one of my personal favorites. Taking the number 1 spot though is a really good collaboration, the Jarritos Nike SB Dunk Low. There's always a balance when it comes to collaborations. You can go too far with all of the added details and extras to the point where you kind of lose the DNA of the sneaker that you're working on, or you can not do enough to the point where it's like, what is the point in even collaborating? But this is a collaboration that I feel finds a perfect balance of that. Not to mention, it is a phenomenal colorway that looks insanely good on foot. I think it looks great as it is, but you can also just cut away the materials to reveal a whole different leather color underneath. Right now, this is my favorite sneaker to drop here in 2023 so far. Now, will it get knocked off of that top spot? We'll have to wait and see. Either way, guys, I'd love to hear from you. What is your favorite sneaker that's dropped this year so far? And if you want to find out about what sneakers are going to be dropping for the rest of the year, well, that video is right over there.